Hello everyone and welcome to another Pax Dei video. My name's Brian if you happen to be new around here, but today we're going to be diving into a sneak peek of the future of PvP. Now, this is, I think, a very important feature, but it's also really important to note this is also development, early access, alpha, and the developers state many times in this post that they are, this is the foundations. They are very well aware of the feedback that you're going to automatically have when you see some of the gameplay footage. Speaking of gameplay footage though, there is going to be some gameplay footage featured in this video from Atari, the professional gamer, or what did he call himself in the commentary video, which is really great. Agent of chaos. And so I'm going to use some of that footage, but his videos are going to be linked in the description of this. Please go give him a follow. It's really exciting to see a content creator get this level of access and support. And I really do enjoy from ginger to another ginger. Like, yeah, he's great. So anyway, all that being said, let's go ahead and dive into this post, and we're gonna explore it, and I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts along the way. And if you guys have any questions about Pax Dei, please let me know. I am in the next alpha. I'm also going to be in the Ashes of Creation alpha 2 later this year, we assume. So lots of great opportunities to talk MMORPGs. Anyway, it says, hello Paxians. Today we're diving into the exciting world of player versus player combat in PvP and in Pax Dei. Now, before we delve into the details, let's address the elephant in the room. And this is the current PvP gameplay is very basic. And you should be able to see that from the gameplay footage just in and of itself. But that is also a necessary stage to test some of our assumptions and potential emerging gameplays. You can consider this a foundation on which we build in the first step towards realizing our long-term vision. So let's break it down. The protection of the divine does not extend to Lioness. You cannot build your home here. The specific appeal of this province lies elsewhere. Amongst other resources, it contains high densities of coveted pure iron nodes in the game world. Now beware, there are those treasures that are not yours just for the taking uncontested. PvP brings a whole new dynamic to the acquisition of resources, turning gathering into a thrilling competition. Now, this is where I'm going to be very interested in your point of view. Please sound off. I love having these discussions with you guys in the comments, or you can always jump in the Discord as we have a growing PvP and Pax Dei community there. Top link in the description will get you to everything you need. And if you guys want more video game content, that top link will also get you to the podcast and so much more. Lots of cool stuff going on. Anyway, now let's talk mechanics. The Wilderness Update Alpha will feature only the first version of the minimal viable product. Now, as a developer, MVP, the minimal viable product, it's the least amount of stuff you need to be able to ship the product, and more changes will be coming in the future. That's an alpha to the T. I know that people get burnt out by that expression. So if you're not interested in being a part of that, I wouldn't participate in an alpha. I would wait till the game gets fully released. For some reason, I love throwing myself into these alphas and into these early access games. I'm really excited for like No Rest for the Wicked, for example. That's coming early access also in April. So it's going to be a real busy month for content. But yeah, that's just note that about yourself. If you get frustrated when things don't work, the way that you expect, yeah, that's what this is. So this is definitely hitting that MVP status. Now, when you enter Lioness, you will automatically be flagged for PvP. When encountering other players, you should consider them as potential enemies who can attack, beat you, and loot your entire inventory from your corpse. Please let me know. Are you excited about this, or are you frustrated about this? And maybe I'll put up a poll as well. I'm very, very excited to see what you guys have to say about that. Anyhow, the reason ends up being is that there is such a contention between what some of the more popular MMOs and community has versus like the, what I would call a niche PvP community, namely because just from the numbers alone, that's how it looks. I see that PvP players make the argument is that they're just waiting for a really good PvP game to really kind of have that investment and show up in their numbers. So who knows? Maybe this is going to be it. Maybe it's going to be Ashes. We'll have to wait and see. Anyhow, they have grand plans for the future iterations of this, and in particular when it comes to spell mechanics. But for now, we're eager to hear your feedback, and we know you're clamoring for PvP arenas, and we're curious to see what you'll create in this sandbox approach. Now, what about balance, you might be asking? And like, I can't stress this enough. Like, data is key to balance, and balance isn't that there'll ever be a perfect level of balance. There's no perfect perfection there, but it's about consistency and looking at where metas and things like that form and making adjustments. So as long as not only do they like look at the feedback and make changes, but as the game becomes, you know, a living world, that they're able to kind of look into and watch to see what people gravitate to. Because if people, for example, gravitate 100% only to bow and arrows, because in these kind of games, especially any kind of game, ranged has an advantage over anybody who isn't ranged. So how do you create a counter advantage and a counterbalance to that kind of gameplay? But essentially, if you saw like, you know, hey, it was just everybody just bows and arrows because there's no reason to do melee, then, you know, that's where you would see them kind of, you know, make those changes. And then only players actively playing it, you know, consistently actively playing it will actually help those kind of flow to the surface. So telemetry is the term I like to use. That would be ideal for this case. So I'm not worried that balance this is going to be an element of trust from the devs. Their continual investment in communication around balance, I think, is going to be more important in the long run. Anyway, so picture this as a non-PvP player. You may find yourself relying on PvP enthusiasts to procure certain resources. Conversely, PvP players may need the expertise of crafters and gatherers to equip themselves for battle. It's a delicate dance in cooperation and competition where alliances are forged and broken in the pursuits of victory. Now, this is perfect sandbox MMO, you know, an example of that, because what they highlight here is critical. This is actually the balm. This is the cure for some of the things that ail the theme park style MMORPG, because those have kind of gravitated to like, you're a one-stop shop. You know, you don't need to rely on anybody else. But if you have an economy and a market, and you have these kind of things, which that's going to be the third round of the alpha, the market and economy and trade and things like that. Like, you have these elements. Like, I, as a player, let's say I love PvPing, but I'm not really big into crafting and gathering, I can go do that. Or if maybe you are more pacifist and you like crafting and gathering and living that peaceful life, well, those resources are brought from them, and then the demand is that they need you to refine those resources. So it's asynchronous multiplayer when you have that kind of economy, and it makes the world feel more alive, a little bit more natural. But we know that a lot of people don't like that either. But then I would say, do you even like MMOs? And they would probably say, of course I like MMOs. I love Diablo. And it's like, okay, like that's a whole different style. Like, I think MMO as a label is way too broad. And so when it comes to the sandbox MMORPG, that's a different beast all in and of itself. Anyhow, I digress. Let's continue on. So in Lioness, the stakes are higher and the risks are greater. It's faster and more perilous shortcut to success. Here, PvP isn't just skirmish. It's a full-fledged battle where every move matters. Be careful should you fall into combat. Prepare to be looted by your vanquisher. Now that you'll be wondering why Lioness isn't as vast as the other provinces, it's only 4 kilometers squared in total. Well, they felt that obviously a smaller province would foster more intense PvP encounters rather than running around forever and never finding people. They want to kind of bring that in to make it a little bit more, intentional. Note, though, the province is strategically located between the 4 heartland provinces, that they can't wait to see all the strategy that you guys put into place and the zone resources or ambush other groups of player and their plunder. So whether you encourage your allies, sharpen your blades, or venture forth into Lioness, PvP awaits and the glory of battle beckons, or victory beckons. Now, go check out Altari, and again, I hope I'm not butchering his name, but he did some really great work, and you can see some other screenshots here as well. And I hope that you guys got something good out of this video. I do appreciate you. If you, especially you hung out with me this entire time, I thank you so much for your time today. I'm looking forward to going hands-on with the Wilderness Alpha update here later in April. So that's all there's going to be to say. Guys, if you like this content and if you want to support the channel, maybe consider subscribing, hitting that like button if I earn it as a stutter. Ugh, sometimes my brain, man, I tell you. And thank you for thanks for just me and you. Hopefully you have a wonderful day and week, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. But until then, take care.